God moves mountains. He puts kindness into the hearts of his people in order to bless others. When he finds these willing and open hearts, miracles happen on this earth. Through him, you and I can be the hands of God to bring blessings wherever we go. And this is what the story that I'm going to tell you is about. At the beginning of September 2022, an orthopedic team from Arkansas arrived at Centro Médico San Lucas. The doctors obtained a grant that provided a donation of 13 knee prostheses, each one valued at 40,000 to 50,000 pesos. And the average cost of a surgery is around 120 pesos, an amount that would be impossible to pay for the vast majority of Mexican families. This is why the orthopedic mission trips are one of the highest in demand. Months in advance, 13 knee replacement surgeries were scheduled to be performed in 1 week, and before the mission trip even started, God provided where it seemed impossible. Zimmer Biomet had generously offered to provide us with the equipment for our surgical week, but we realized on short notice that the grant would not be approved on time. We decided to have faith and not cancel the mission trip. After many prayers and phone calls, we learned that Zimmer had a branch in Mérida, just 2 hours away from our hospital. We asked if they would be willing to use the money from the American grant to purchase the equipment in Mérida and have the Mexican branch supply the equipment to us. Zimmer had never done this before, and it was not within their policy for charitable grants. But 2 weeks before the campaign, they approved this on a trial basis. We had the 13 knee prostheses, and we were ready for our mission trip. The week of the ortho trip began, and the results of the patients were amazing, each one with an impactful story. On the second to last day, the final 2 scheduled patients could not be operated on due to some health complications, and suddenly, there were 2 available spaces to bless other people. But finding 2 new patients would be a difficult thing to do in less than 24 hours. This would require preoperative studies, the patient would need to arrive immediately, and the biggest issue at hand was having the actual prosthesis that the patient needed. For knee replacement surgeries, you need the exact measurements of the patient to match them with a prosthesis. We had already sent in the measurements of our 13 patients months in advance. The waitlist was searched and no patient was immediately available for surgery. It was then that the list of patients from the Mayan communities was searched, who live in deep poverty, and the vast majority can't even pay the recovery fee. Maria Lidia Martín Cocom, originally from Tizimín, Yucatan, and Guillermo Garcia, from Chiapas, had been waiting for this surgery for years, struggling with almost unbearable pain. With no strength to stand up, multiple negative diagnoses, and the knowledge that they required such an expensive surgery, they both became very discouraged. Maria, being a widow and dependent on her children, would not be able to pay, and as for Guillermo, having a monthly income of 5,000 pesos, or $250, it would be impossible. But we know that it is in the impossible where God steps in and manifests his power. We had the right patients, but the complicated part would now come, finding a prosthesis to match their knees. But God, having absolute control of all work in favor at all times and for his purpose, went before us, days before we even knew about Maria and Guillermo. We then learned that Zimmer Biomet Mérida, who provided us with the equipment, not only brought the prosthesis that had been ordered for the 13, but without being asked, they also decided to bring any extra prosthesis they had in their inventory, 2 of which were the exact match for Maria and Guillermo. Because of this, the surgery was performed in a timely manner and it was successful. Maria and Guillermo's quality of life, along with the other 11 patients, would be transformed. Today, Maria Lidia is recovering at home. Her desire to live has returned, to enjoy life with a strengthened faith and a gratitude to God for moving the hearts of generous people who allowed the surgery to be performed.
Agradecerle primeramente a Dios y agradecerle a la doctora que me operó y pues sé que Diosito me va a seguir guiando en su camino y también en mis dolencias. Agradecerle a todas las que trabajan acá, la verdad me trataron muy bien. Agradecerle más a Dios.
Guillermo Garcia, who currently resides in Chetumal, is also very happy recovering. The most incredible testimony that Guillermo shared with us is that he had been saving money for his surgery for years, but 1 week before the call from San Lucas, the daughter of a friend in their village had become sick, and he felt moved by God in his heart to help. He gave away all of the money that he had been saving to help their family. And just 1 week later, he learned that God would bless him with a free surgery. He is grateful to God and to the people that God used for this miracle. Having undergone surgery and recovering, he is convinced all these gifts have come from God and that we are all called to bless our neighbor according to our abilities. Through this story, the hearts of the staff at CMSL and Zimmer Merida were touched. Earlier on in the grant application process, when we were feeling hopeless, God knew all along. He knew that we needed the grant in the US to fail in order to bring the right sizes for Maria and Guillermo. All those months before, he saw Maria, he saw Guillermo, and I believe he saw even more patients that we have yet to reach. He knew this grant would be approved, but not in the way that we had hoped. Now, we have hope to trust God, to continue working with a fresh faith, approaching our mission trips to impact future patients that we don't see yet, but we know that God sees, and he already has a merciful plan to capture their hearts and bless all of us in the process.